Oh, it's a huge relief. Me and many others, we were pushing, arguing for women rights to drive over decades. And yeah, we got what we want, and we really appreciate for the Crown Prince to take this brave stand and override all the objections of the past, of the conservatives, of the royals, and moved along with the woman driving, which will put in the back or on the side this issue, which was totally unnecessarily. So yeah, I'm very much thrilled, and I'm sure it will make my daughters very happy, and it will empower them to in their work. They live in Dubai right now, but eventually they will go to their home. It shows leadership. There will be always conservatives, but since the government is taking the lead, it will push away those conservatives, and they will see the benefit of women driving. Saudi Arabia needed such a brave decision by a leader, and I don't believe the argument that it could fire back, the conservatives will be angry. No, the conservatives were empowered by the government or were allowed by the government. And when the government undermined them or showed resilience, they were pushed to the side. But of course, everybody has the right to speak his opinion. If there is somebody who is unhappy with women driving, he can show this ignorance and spill it out in an article in a newspaper. Of course, he wouldn't be allowed to, but in principle, I think he should do. Totally unnecessarily, totally unneeded. Those activists should have been celebrated. They should have been maybe the first Saudi woman to receive the driver license as a reward to their efforts, to their struggle, to the insult they had received in the past from conservatives, from pro-government, and unfortunately, for some unnecessarily unexplained reason, they are being arrested, and it's totally unneeded. It did hurt the image, the reformed image that the Crown Prince had created. It's totally unneeded. I believe it is about controlling the narrative. The Crown Prince wants to be seen as the leader for reform, and he doesn't want no one else to compete that position with him. I can, he never said that, but I can hear him saying to us, the Saudi people, stay aside, stay away from politics, let me lead. I am the one who will lead you into the future, and I don't want any of you to be active. It is a big push against activism, and now every Saudi Arabian woman or man who wants to be active and push for any demand of his or hers will have to think twice before he do so. He will fear the consequences. He will fear being arrested, and people don't want to be arrested. It is very much worrying. We are going into an era of one-man rule, authoritarians, some kind of a chauvinist narrative that accuse independent Saudis of being traitors. And this is scary. This is not the Saudi we want, the Saudi Arabia we want. It is an argument of 1920s in the past century. It is not the argument of today in the age of enlightenment and in the age of social media openness. People are afraid, and pro-government people are accusing independent Saudis of being traitors. This is not the exchange and the discourse that we want in our country. It is totally strange. We don't need that. Very unusual. I was an editor of a newspaper for many years. There were people arrested at my time. We had kind of an unwritten understanding with the government that the government arrest someone and we go silent. We will just publish the news in the newspaper, but I will never allow anyone to come out in the newspaper and attack the person who was arrested. It's out of respect to the person who was arrested, and because at that time we know that the person cannot write back. He's been arrested and by the government. So that was the system or the behavior in the media we had a decade ago when me and many others were editors of newspapers. But today's newspaper, today's media environment is totally different, where colleagues of mine, smear campaign, other activists, I never experienced that, and I just simply I don't want to be part of that. That's why I chose to come to Washington and self-exiled myself here. Almost a year. Almost a year. I left last year. I left because whatever narrow space I had was getting narrower. I began to feel the pressure. So I just decided to leave before it is too late. And just a couple of months, right, I left. Friends of mine were arrested. Many people I know are banned from travel. So I thank goodness that I did that. Otherwise, at least I would have been at home, at my home right now, banned from travel, at least, if not arrested. And that is not the thing I want in my retirement. I'm 60 years old and I want to enjoy life and I want to be free to speak for my country. No, no, it is government pressure, it is government asking, it is government creating this environment. And the government is having a policy to control the social media, to control the print media, the TV media, to control the narrative. And we are going gradually into a, a one-party state. I wouldn't rule out to see an initiative to create some party line system, some Saudi nationalist party, even though we don't allow parties in Saudi Arabia to incorporate everybody who wants to be activist, everyone who wants to speak. As long as you speak and you are active from within the government parameter, you are allowed to. But to do that independently, you will face harsh consequences. I have mixed feelings about that. I'm very much supportive for his reform, for his social reform. But in the same time, I repeatedly say he doesn't need to this intimidation. He doesn't need to make his people, the Saudi people, fearful of him. The Saudi people are welcoming his reform, and he need to trust the people and reach to them and listen to them. The Saudi people, they have other problems besides women driving. They need better jobs. They need jobs. They need better life standards. And he need to spend more time with the people and trust the people. And they just, I found it ironic. Why does he want people who fear him rather than people who love him? Now he has a larger job to do. It's economic miracle, economic transformation, to provide jobs, to provide a good income, a steady income to the Saudi people. He has a huge population. We are 20 million people. Uh, Almost two-thirds of them are young. Uh, there are about 5 million Saudis who are jobless and or they have rotten jobs and they want better jobs. He has to fix that. Otherwise, he should look to what happened in Jordan in the last few days. Uh, Arab people want freedom and they want dignity and better standard of life. We saw that in Jordan in this week. We saw that in Egypt 5, 6 years ago before the coup, and it will come back again. And I would like to see evolution in my country, not revolution. It is much better for us to work together with the government to transform Saudi Arabia into the future. Unfortunately, right now, the Crown Prince wants to do that alone. He thinks he has the power and the knowledge and the experience to do that alone, and he doesn't need the the voice of the people or the support of the people. He's the giver, and whatever he give us, we have to welcome. This is not a good recipe.